Good greetings to all, and welcome once again. I hope you're all well wherever you may be. This time we're going to bring forth a topic which is rather unknown and controversial in regards to Lilith and abundance. So, primarily, most of us know exactly who or what Lilith is and what she relates to. We will know her as many different aspects, many different names, under many different attributes, mostly related to the current of Gamaliel and the sexual energies which consist of a darker nature, okay, carnal desires and all that. Normally, we do not know Lilith to be an abundant spirit. We do not know her as an energy relating to monetary abundance in any way. So, is it true? Does it exist? Is there any correlation to something like that? According to personal knowledge, which was given to me a while ago, which I spoke of in a different podcast, Lilith has claimed herself to be the main patron and most beloved spirit of Babylon at the time when Babylon was a renowned kingdom. In that aspect, the Babylonian aspect, she would appear as the Scarlet Woman, the red-haired woman, which opens gates to another aspect called Abzu, okay, which is a Mesopotamian spirit of female energy, which is known to be harmful to pregnant women and children. More or less another aspect of Lilith, a lesser one, highly vampiric, highly transformational at the same time, of which I have been lucky enough to come in contact with. So what was said to me by Lilith at that time was that she was the main patron of Babylon at the time. And she was responsible for the abundance therein. And according to her, the reason why that kingdom fell was because they discarded her eventually, and they more or less stopped venerating her in that system. Take it as it resonates. You may or may not believe these affirmations made by the spirit. I simply bring forth whatever it is that is given. So, could Lilith actually bring abundance to one, monetarily wise? Although she's not known to have anything to do with such attributions. Short answer would be yes. But nevertheless, it is not in the way that you would possibly imagine it. We have seen other abundant spirits cause opportunities or open avenues and gateways into abundance for people to be able to make use of the new opportunities that may come, or helping with connections for that matter, one way or the other, or causing certain businesses to fail so that others may prosper, and then you just happen to find yourself there in the middle, causing opportunity through chaos. There are many other ways, of course, but each spirit works in different ways. None of them make it easy. There will be no such thing as a perfect situation which shall be easy and pleasurable, or effortless. Archangels will work in the same way, but not with negative or difficult situations in regards to manifestation. Nevertheless, there will always be a catch. Okay? So just like Archangel Sandalphon said to me once when I was in need and he helped me, there is no such thing as a perfect situation. Okay? You can't expect to get into any sort of work of abundance and simply have it all laid out and given to you. You may ask to move to a different location, and that location may be amazing. You may get a beautiful brand new house, but you will always have a minority of people who may make it a little bit more difficult or unpleasant for you to be in that area. Okay? The area overall may be good, but there will always be some negativity there, negative people, negative neighbors, what have you. Okay? You may ask to go to a different job. Job is extremely highly paying, but you may have to deal with people who you don't like at all. You may have to deal with a manager who you cannot stand. Or you may simply have a tremendous amount of work which you will have to be engaged with. You will not be relaxed like you used to be in any way, shape, or form. So there's always a catch somewhere. No perfect situations. Forget about all that. The only thing you can do, apart from being grateful when your desire has manifested, is to simply roll with the punches and adapt to the new situation. Now, back to the topic. How can Lilith help with abundance? Well, in this regard, under her attribute and her energy, it is going to be in ways that will relate to sexuality. Meaning, if you are a magnetic person from nature, or even if you're not and you happen to work on it, and you accumulate some knowledge about magnetism and how to attract people, and you work on yourself, and if you had physical problems before with your appearance, you fix them, etc. If you didn't know how to speak, you try and research, get educated a little bit, and you learn. Everybody can learn new skills. It's not that hard. It's not impossible, okay? You can be a fast learner, you can be a slow learner. It matters not. Everything is energy. Once you invest energy, and most of all time, you shall manifest things. And you shall learn your attributes. It's not impossible. You do not need to be a rocket scientist either to do it. Simple, basic things, basically. But in regards to Lilith, it will be of sexual nature. For example, you may find yourself in events or places where a particular important person will be. Somehow, completely randomly, there shall be a manifestation that person will be brought forth closer to you and you will be able to interact. And without too much effort or even too much of knowledge, you will end up connecting with this person. Now, chances are you may have to engage with that person sexually to be able to get what you want. If it is an important person with a high ranked seat in your employment, then more or less Lilith will pretty much tell you that you should get with that person to use your magnetism and get what you want, okay? Being the mother of prostitution, she does that, okay? She teaches dark attributes. She teaches dark magnetism. And more or less, she will teach you how to, within brackets, sell yourself, okay? That may or may not be appealing to you. That is up to you, okay? What you consider moral or immoral is up to you to decide. But this is how this spirit works. So don't be surprised if you go before this spirit and ask for abundance, that you end up being faced with such situations. And then you may be overwhelmed that you don't know what to do. Or you may not resonate with that kind of action. It's best not to approach a spirit if you don't know the way it works, because you may end up offending the spirit in the process, and then things will start going against you, and you don't want to make your situation harder than it already is. Okay? Nevertheless, that's why we are here, to bring things forth and bring education. So if that's your avenue, you may take that approach and use the spirit for abundance. There are multiple other spirits which will work in many different ways for abundance. This is only one of them. You don't have to take this one. It's just information, okay? So that's one thing that may happen. People will start approaching you of higher ranks. People may ask you for certain sexual favors as well. We're talking about you may be approached by people who hold a specific financial status, and one way or another, they will become friendly to you, and they may even ask you to satisfy another partner on their behalf because they themselves are not pretty capable of it. That's another thing that you would be asked to do. Many scenarios that could come actually towards you. I cannot list all the possible scenarios. I can only list a few of them, of which from my interaction with the spirit and channeling have been given to me to use as examples. Okay, everyone's situation will be different, of course. So according to where you are and how you operate and how you move about your life, that's how these manifestations will come. If you want to have more chances, of course, you shall open more avenues by being more social, by being more active, by being more outgoing, and more interactive with people. People bring in more people, connections open more gateways, and so on and so forth. Don't close the doors that are available to you. It's always a good thing to be able to allow for doors to open if we require abundance, if we require to manifest something new. So it is in your interest to increase your activity, okay? If you are an extremely highly introverted person and you stay indoors all the time, how are you going to meet anyone? Even if the spirit tries its best to open avenues, you must coexist and work with the energy to allow something to flow in. Because the spirit is not going to twist someone's mind and make them call you in the middle of the night or come in your house at midnight and knock on your door and say, we need to talk, or how, yeah, or I don't know, something's changed inside me and I just can't stop being around you. Things like that. It doesn't work that way. Things will work in stages. Things will work slowly. You don't actually actively have to cast on anyone for these things to happen. Okay, the spirit will bring these situations forth to you. You don't have to agree or resonate with them. You don't have to accept them. But like I said, it's best not to engage with the spirit for abundance if that's not your avenue. Okay. Nevertheless, if you take that approach, you also have to be careful with these connections, because you are dealing with very fragile alchemy here. Influences of the mind and connections with people are extremely fragile as the energies themselves. They are like a bridge which has been created for you to use and cross. That bridge can crumble at any time if the bridge is not maintained. Okay? Like a physical bridge. If it is not serviced, it shall crumble. So you have to try your best as a human being to facilitate that connection and treat the connection with respect once you build it, because that's your avenue, that's your passageway right there. So keep that in mind once you form these relations. Do your best, which is humanly possible, to preserve them. And even if the time comes where you must end this connection after you have acquired what you desire, don't cut them in a negative way, and don't shut the doors completely. Keep the avenues open, always. And maintain a friendly relationship with your peers. See them as friends, as connections. Try and treat them with as much as respect as you can. And that shouldn't be a difficult thing to do. Don't see them as someone who's just simply influenced by a spirit that will give you what you desire, and then it's just like, yeah, okay, whatever now. Cut them off or mistreat them or what have you. Treat these connections in a nice way. Keep it positive, because there will be another avenue in the future. Okay, these connections will remain and come back to you at different times when they are needed. So just because you acquire what you wanted from this alchemy doesn't mean that it's going to be like that and that's it. There are more steps to it. Abundance alchemy works in stages. Stages which may even take years and a lot of sacrifice, okay? You may have to change the city, change your job, change your country. Who knows? You may have to do big radical changes to achieve that abundance. You may have to take big risks. You may have to go all in financially and risk everything to be lost, or you may risk every possible factor of your civilian and human life, and you may have to invest a tremendous amount of your finances in order to gain what you want. So you will have to eventually, for the higher amount of abundance, you will have to work with many different spirits. One avenue will most likely not be enough for the majority, okay? Bear that in mind. So it's a long-term process, and it's a year-long process. You will have to invest for a long time, for years, according to, of course, what level of abundance you seek. You may only seek a small promotion, then yeah, of course. If that is the avenue chosen, you may go with Lilith, and you may progress there. But if you seek more things, of course, you will have to work with more spirits, and then things will be getting more complicated. You will have to educate yourself upon finances. You will have to learn many things in regards to taxes. It's not all according to alchemy. You will have to put your own physical effort, and your mortal education. Your own mind has to go into things to learn things, okay? The spirit will guide you, of course, and tell you, okay, for this next step, you will have to learn this and learn that. And then you go on about it, okay? Learn about assets, learn about investments, learn. It's painful, but nobody wants to do it, but it's part of it. And then the spirit starts opening avenues for you. But in regards to Lilith, that's how basically things are going to work. So once again, long story short, yes, Lilith is not known as an abundant spirit, but she can bring abundance to you through sexual avenues, okay? Sexual connections, different temporary partners, all sorts of things like that. And you will have to treat these connections, of course, with respect. Be friendly and positive towards them. And don't close doors, because the future is unpredicted. And these energies tend to return, okay? Just when you think that your path workings are done, they always return. And they always repeat a pattern in different ways and different avenues. There's always a pattern after the pattern, and then another pattern after that, okay? So that will be all in a nutshell. It should resonate with those that need to hear this at this time. That will be all for now. If you require more knowledge, of course, you may click into the channel and check out the Facebook channel for more knowledge, sigils, more rituals, words of power. There's a lot of knowledge there for everyone to use freely. At this time, services may be provided as well, because I am more or less back in the spectrum. I've been extremely busy with many professional changes on my side as well, and a lot of freelancing and other things which I'm involved in, not alchemically related, of course, and other organizations. So as you see, the abundance spirit will the abundance path working, will heavily engage you into so many activities that it gets very overwhelming, and you gotta have that amount of energy to correspond to it. Okay, you gotta get yourself into the movement. You gotta be active all the time, and you will find yourself, of course, being engaged with activities and duties for many, many hours. Okay? Don't be afraid to invest 14 to 18 hours in something, in a project, if you want abundance. Okay? Just bear that in mind when you work with the spirits of abundance to transform your life. Don't be afraid to invest tremendous amount of time and energy, because that is one of the biggest factors that you will be required to do. There is no button that will bring huge luck on your side and you will wake up one day and somehow you're a millionaire. It doesn't exist. You have to put yourself under tremendous stress and you will be overwhelmed with activities. And as you snatch new opportunities according to your abilities and your talents, of course, okay, the amount of time and energy which you will have to invest shall increase drastically, and you have to be prepared. And you have to accept that. Even with Lilith's help, by the way, even if you go with that avenue, don't think that things are just going to be handed to you like this. You will still be required to put that amount of effort and energy and work into it. Things are, there's always a catch with dark alchemy, like I keep saying. Nothing is free for all or carefree. There is always something. So be prepared and be ready and remain knowledgeable, because knowledge is power. And when you're knowledgeable, you are able to respond to both the energies, the changes, and to the spirits accordingly with minimum issues or throwbacks. Okay? We don't want anything to backfire. That's why we have to know what we are doing. And that's exactly why we bring all this forth. So, like, share, subscribe as always. I hope this was informational. If there are any questions, of course, I'll try to be as available as possible and try to respond to everyone. And I'll see you next time. Rise and conquer. Reveles tenebras tua.